I just realized that I was muted. Uh,
I wasn't sure if you were talking to us or speaking
yeah, yeah.
to somebody there.
So, would this be the right venue to get some help with setting up a receipt that'll print from the paper and bill payments? The last upgrade just added the option to email an individual payment receipt, and I got that down so we can
Mhm.
email, but I can't figure out how to do the print receipt. And
Uh, yeah, this is definitely the right place to ask that. So, what's the problem or what's
okay, yeah, I couldn't get it to kind of do a loop and print if somebody on one payment has several bills they paid. I couldn't get it to list multiple payments on the print receipt. And I'm trying to think of a good example.
what's the what was the name of the notice in question? Or
Okay,
or
it is.
slip notice.
Let me find that really quickly. And okay, it's the account underscore credit slip, and I believe this is what it uses when a staff member clicks to on an individual bill payment to print a slip about that payment.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're trying to have it list multiple payments?
Yeah. So if a patron pays $25 and it's like multiple bills that add up to $25, um, it's not printing the other things there. Oh, original template text. Huh, that's a good idea. Um,
I don't know how this is going to look in Zoom chat, but this is the default. Actually, it's too big, I think, to let
yeah,
me
yeah. I
attach it
just
there.
found that.
Um,
I think it's that for each offset in credit offsets near the end, that's where you can get the descriptions for each of the payments near the end of the
Okay.
default.
Okay.
I think that's the I think the credit description that you're pulling is the payment description, not the description of the charge.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. That makes sense. So anyway, I'm sorry this question's a little bit half baked here
okay.
because I actually was working on this like 2 weeks ago and haven't gotten back to it. Um, but I'll take another crack at it and try again. Maybe bring it back next month.
Um, I'm gonna share my screen real quick
Unless,
just to
okay.
show a couple tips. Um, maybe you already know this, but um, if I eh, eh, when I'm looking at stuff like an offset, um, that might be something like here offset debit dot item number, which would give you a very specific piece of data. Um, but sometimes I want to know just like what's in a thing. Like take for example offset. So I will do this just as a way of testing, and this works well for these slips that you can print, do something, go look at. This doesn't work so good if we're talking about like an overdue where we have to wait for it to generate. But I will put in something like this to use Perl's data dumper. And then I can do, let's see if I can get this syntax right. Do you remember this off the top of your head, Lisette?
No, but we have a knowledge base article that I believe is public. about it. I'm looking it up now.
Okay.
And it doesn't have all of the it doesn't have all the options in it. We add as we do it, but basically loading it. Yeah, it is on users, Open Help Center.
So I'm just adding what you see here. I'm going to say, I want to use the data dumper, and then I'm going to dump the variable. This is really nice because it'll show me everything that's in this variable offset. And because it can often be confusing, what's in there, what can I use, how do I get something like the item number or the biblio title. And so this will just print this thing right here to the page. It'll be a bunch of kind of confusing stuff. So I'll usually do something like this to test and test so I can see where that starts and ends. And anyway, this is just a nice little tip for looking inside of those variables and seeing what may or may not be available to you when you're trying to customize these things.
And the Help Center article that I shared is one that Andrew and I have been working on. That's just basically the result of, we have a template that we put in when we're trying to figure out, that's just got all of the objects. I'm actually adding offsets to the template we have right now because that one wasn't in there. And then we'll just put that in and print the slip or run the hold or run the cron that makes it or whatever, triggers it, and then copy out the output here just so that we have like, this is all the options in the fields and stuff. And so we're like always, like I added something to this morning because I did the one for like checkout digest email. And it just dumps all, if that variable exists, it'll dump all that information and you can see how it's supposed to be, like what each field is.
Yeah, that looks like a great tool. Thanks. Great tip. Okay, I'll work on it a little more and see if I can figure this out.
Just let us know if you need help, Chip. I'm always checking in the partner chat, so if you want to private message me there, feel free. Anyone else have questions or like customizations of any kind in Koha they've been working on? Want to show off?
I don't want to show off, but I do have a question.
Sure.
So with the new 2505 version, the acquisitions budget part shows like everything, like open and closed, and we want to show just open, I think. So I'm wondering what the shortcut jQuery is when you're trying to like automatically, or I'm sorry, let me look really quick. What exactly specifically they were saying? Oh, default, they want it to default to all when they show the budget page instead of
Well, and maybe you can, I'm just going to share my screen and show
Okay.
my testing docker, which doesn't have a lot of data in it, but maybe you can just help direct me to
sure
the
if you,
correct screen. So we're talking in acquisitions.
yes, and then this would be the funds,
oh,
so budgets or funds.
would this be funds from admin?
No,
Yeah. Okay.
acquisitions.
Okay. So how do I get there? Sorry, Kristi.
But yeah, let me get you there.
I believe that's the same link, actually.
Oh, okay. So if you go to acquisitions. And then it's gonna save me, sorry. Should be. So if it's the funds page, and it'll show 1 to 20 of 34 entries, and it keeps yeah, so they'd want it to default to show all instead of 20. And I'm kind of trying to figure out what the jQuery shortcut would be.
Okay, this one's this was not a column configurable table. I think the reason being is it's a little weird because of this stuff. Like we have the subfunds and we could have subfunds of subfunds and whatnot. It's a little, it's not exactly easy, Kristi, because when we do this, we have to redraw the data table. So if we're gonna do jQuery right here, we have to figure out what this is, switch the value to the one we want, but then we also have to redraw this data table so that it'll actually do that thing. I don't love that jQuery at all. Let's see. Lisette, do you have anything else to say here? Is there?
I know some of the acquisition stuff has also been moved into view,
That's true. That
which also complicates things. I'm checking on the template right now to see if that one, I don't think that one is yet, but it will be after acquisitions 2.0, which I don't think we have a set timeline for that yet, but I know that there's going to be discussion about the timeline for that at KohaCon next month.
I think what keeps driving our ordering team crazy is because when it just shows the first 20 entries, the period allocated only shows like the budget total is only for those 20 entries. So it looks like you have much less money at your disposal at first glance before you load everything. So
you're hoping that to load all, is that what you want?
So yeah, that's what our ordering team would like, is that it just opens to all, since we only have like 34 funds, we don't have too many complicated things there. So my hope was that it would be a simple like show instead of hide or something like that. But it sounds like that's not.
Yeah, it's not as simple as you might think, in that you can't just adjust that drop down to all. If I do that with jQuery, nothing happens until I tell it to also redraw the table. And Lisette also brings up a good point, like this stuff, although not this admin page, well, a lot of this stuff has moved to view, which is a more modern JavaScript framework for front end stuff. It doesn't play nicely with jQuery, so that also sort of adds to the complications here. to do that. This might be moot because of what Lisette said about acquisitions 2.0, but we could maybe file a bug to have this added to column configuration, which then we'd hope we could have it give us the option there to switch these to the preferred thing we want this to default to.
Okay, thanks. That helps to have that.
I think, yeah, Lisette just put a bug in, which, to be honest, like, I think that like pursuing it that way is actually easier than the jQuery that we'd have to come up with.
Thanks.
The second bug has more to do with like the collapsing, but it's also related to that, like only the first 20 funds are returned. So just might also be of interest.
Which I would
I'm
say,
kind of, oh, go ahead.
sorry, Lisette.
You go.
I was just going to say, which I would promote Lisette's baby devs here, which would be a great place to work on a bug like that, and is much more sort of like positive contribution to the community than adding some jQuery to your site only.
Yeah, okay, so we were totally on the same page because I was also gonna talk about baby devs a little bit. Baby devs is the newest, I don't think there's a newer SIG than baby devs, which started last year after Round Rock's koha-US conference. We were actually, it came out of the baby devs meeting there. I mean the web dev SIG meeting there, because we had like all the different SIGs met, and we were talking about how some jQuery was not going to work. Some pages weren't going to really support jQuery much anymore because of the change to Vue and just like the way that things load in to make it faster and more responsive and more flexible, makes jQuery less usable on any of those pages, things like that. And that also like jQuery breaks with updates because things get changed, but if it's just an option in Koha or just is in Koha because it's something that isn't going to be a problem if it just becomes the default, things like that, that like getting that into Koha makes it all more stable in addition to sharing it with the rest of the community. And so we've actually, Jason, who's also often here, has been really involved, and we took some jQuery about a year and a half ago. Lucas and I filed a bunch of bugs for jQuery. We see lots of places that are like, this should just be an option in Koha so that we don't have to fix it every time there's an upgrade because we have like a ton of partners using this. And so we did one that we filed a bunch of those bugs, and then Jason in baby devs did the whole bug fix for I don't remember the bug number off the top of my head, but it's when you click the holds to pull link, it's gonna default to your logged in library now. So you don't have to click again to run the report. It's just gonna run it with your library, because it's no more clicks for the people who want to change their library, because that still shows up on the results page, but it's one fewer click for most users. And so like we go through and work on that, and we also work on testing bugs, especially stuff that can't be tested on the sandboxes because it requires you to like run a special script or something like that. So we like make sure people are set up with Koha testing Docker, and we're trying to work at our last meeting last week, we talked about documentation, and there's already some that we've been working on, but some specific stuff that we'd want to work on in the future to kind of help people get up and running, doing both testing and dev. And it's kind of, we're all learning. Like, I'm a dev. I have developments in Koha, and there's stuff that we were like, we're gonna have to come back to this later because we cannot figure it out during the course of this meeting, even really where to get started. Like, we thought we knew where to get started, and then that was not the case. And we also talk about like just testing things and kind of how to go about doing that. And even QA-ing small changes, like string changes, which is where it's just like, we just changed what this is called because there was a typo or we wanted to make the language more clear, but it doesn't actually change any functionality, which is like a great place to get started. Those are the devs that I did when I worked in a library, was all string changes, I think. I think I did a little bit more, but mostly I did some string changes. And it's much easier now with Koha testing Docker than it was then with the weird I forget what VirtualBox thing that we had instead that didn't like Windows very well. And so I really recommend, if you're interested in this kind of stuff, that coming to baby devs might also be a good next step, even if it feels overwhelming when you first come. Like, if we're talking about something that's over your head, please ask questions. It's mostly me, Jason, Brendan from Clams, and David Nind from New Zealand. It's at the same time as this meeting, but 1 week ago, 1 week earlier. We're skipping next month because Jason and I are going to be on our way to New Zealand for KohaCon, where we're presenting about baby devs, and kind of what we've been doing and what we want to do going forward, and hopefully going to get some documentation stuff done there as well. David's going to be there, and he does a lot of documentation for the community. So kind of sitting down and coming up with a plan when it's not 5 a.m. for him, which is what time it is during our meetings. So
So that's
and
the
yeah.
second Thursday of every month, is that correct?
Second Thursday of every month at the same time as this. And the Zoom link is on the calendar, the koha-US calendar as well. And there's a mailing list, which is not very active. It's mostly just, hey, there's a meeting. But also, if you are interested and want like help setting up your Koha testing Docker or anything like that, then like please ask on there. Even if you're not sure you'll come to meetings, if you want to just like get it set up to test. But maybe at our next meeting, actually, we'll plan on making sure anyone's set up with KTD that doesn't already have it set up or hasn't used it in a while, since it'll have been a couple meetings anyway. And we're also flexible on the time. Like, we picked that time because the people who were coming, it worked for that time. And there are a couple other people who have said, that time doesn't work for me, but I don't have like a solid other time that does. That I'd be like, yes, definitely move it to this time and I can come. So if you're interested, but that time doesn't work, like, just let us know on the mailing list and we can talk about moving it. Because a lot of us are pretty flexible with our schedules. We just picked a time we knew worked for the people who came to the first meeting after koha-US last year. We did one like a couple weeks later to kind of make a plan and pick a meeting time. And that's what we've stuck with, but we're all very flexible.
And do you, in that, in a single meeting, do you usually just work on one single bug, or?
It depends. Sometimes if we're doing sign-offs, like testing, it might be more than one bug. With working on like doing a bug, it kind of depends. We've only worked on small bugs really. And so it not even necessarily going to take the whole time, because like it took a while to get Jason's in because there were things that we just weren't thinking of, like that link is in more than one place. So we fixed it in like one place, but not in the breadcrumbs and not in the menu. And so then we had to go back. But even if we had done all 3 of those on the first go, it wouldn't have taken very long. So we probably could have done that and some testing. And honestly, most of what we've been doing is testing and getting KTDs set up, because getting comfortable with testing some of the more complicated things like that need you to run scripts in the in the command line, or direct database edit something for the test work, are like a good way to get a little more comfortable with that without being worried about like, oh, I'm going in and changing the code and what if I break everything? And the answer is you're in a test environment, so it's fine. And that's part of why we have our testing then, where we have like someone sign off and someone else QA, and our QA tools that do a bunch of automated testing for us. Is it's pretty hard to break everything. So, and that's also why we work on it together. Because we might see things and go, oh wait, there's like a weird comma there, or a lack of a semicolon, and that's why things aren't working like we think they should. So.
Awesome. Who's got other questions? Anyone?
I have a kind of just general question about HTML customizations. I am starting to do those. I made based off of somebody else's work. I kind of was able to make like a status page for our hotspots in our Chromebooks, and I added them to the main library's like homepage. But I was noticing, maybe I'm missing it, but there's not like a great way to, if you have like a library system that you want to add HTML customizations, that you need to go in and do it for every single location. Is that true? Or am I missing like an easy copy feature or library system feature that I just don't have
There's
set up
not
right?
a group feature.
There's
There's
not,
a bug
okay.
for that, I know, because
Oh,
I'm
there,
pretty sure I filed it back when I worked at a multi-branch system and filed a lot of bugs for that.
okay. That could be nice. I mean, I don't mind doing it. It just, it makes the list a lot longer, and the list is kind of already long. So it's
Yeah,
like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this for all of the locations.
I
Okay.
know that it is on my roadmap. So I'm working on something in the HTML customizations for this next cycle, hopefully. That one of the like follow-ups kind of once that's done is that I'm hoping to be able to update it to do groups. But we're just trying to get it in for the cycle instead, like first. So that would probably come in the following cycle. But like that's definitely on our radar, because yeah, right now it's just you have to copy it for each one. And I don't think HTML customizations have like a copy
Yeah,
or a
I don't
duplicate.
see one. I mean, that there's the edit button, and there's nothing
Yeah, I don't
like
think.
with notices. It's not like the same as like being able to just copy to a different.
Mhm.
Okay, I just thought I'd ask in case, because it's my first time kind of putting anything in there that wasn't already in there. So
Yeah, that I see how that is a problem, because there is an all libraries option, but that doesn't work probably how you want it to, in that it only shows you that content when there is no branch context.
yeah,
You probably always have branch context, so it'd be nice to have an option, kind of like all libraries, but
For a
all
group.
something that, so you can make one customization and have it show at all your branches, not just for those without branch context or unauthenticated users.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and we have libraries in our system who don't want to see my pretty Chromebook dashboard. I don't know why it's so pretty, but it doesn't apply to them, I guess. So they probably don't care about it. And just in case anybody does want to, the original that was in the reports Slack channel, Juliet Altabrittle from Rapid City. She's the one that shared her customization, her notices template to customize. I think she did it for hotspots. And so I just took that and it turned out amazing. And it was really easy to
Awesome.
edit for my own library. So in case anybody else wants to do that.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, that's awesome. Anyone else have questions or something cool to show us?
Again, I have nothing cool to show, but I do have another question.
Sure.
On a patron's homepage, so if you bring up any patron record in Koha, there's that quick print button up by their checkout screen. Right now that defaults to the quick slip. Is there any customization you can do to default that to the issue slip?
Yeah, pretty sure. Let me check. I'm pretty sure that's a system preference. Yeah.
Really?
CircAutoPrintQuickSlip. When an oh wait, is that? Well, let me just share my screen real quick.
I'm sorry, our system's going down. I've got to leave.
Okay.
Apologies. Hi, Lavinia. Okay, thanks. All right, I'm on it.
We appear to be
Oh.
down as well. So I got to take off.
Yes, since this is being recorded and maybe Kristi will come back to see, that is the system preference, I believe, for what she was talking about. Well, if no one else, we can go about our days. Any more questions before we call it?
Hey, can I ask a question and ask whether the question's appropriate before I ask it?
Sure, of course.
So I think you were helping me with a patch. I think you gave me a comment, which I definitely appreciate. As we're looking to get feedback on those, so my question is about getting feedback on patches. Is that appropriate to this meeting, or is there a different meeting where I should ask that?
It's fine to ask here. I'd say baby devs would be a good place to ask that too,
Okay.
but we're here.
All right.
Feel free.
Okay. Cool. Well, I didn't want to waste anybody's time or anything like that. I guess my question, Justin, is probably not like a black and white answer, but if you're like looking to get a review on a patch, is it good to go out to Mattermost, or is that just root at that point? I just am trying to look for like a temperature check on like culture and stuff like that, you know? And
No.
like, I wasn't sure how anybody would actually know that a bug was ready to review or a patch was ready to review.
First of all, it's not rude at all. I think you'll see that sort of stuff being asked in the Mattermost development channel often. Hey, can somebody take a look?
Cool.
Town Square is also probably a fine place to just promote your stuff. Just sometimes you just need to get eyes on it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then for the second part of that question, and I think I'm aware of the bug you're working on, something with reports, right?
Yeah, it's with reports, and there's currently an outstanding comment from another person who brought up a lot of good things too.
Okay.
So yeah.
Just for like for hoping there can be a lot of things in the queue and things can sit for some time.
Yeah.
I would go promote yourself on Mattermost, and then if you want people like actively testing, make sure that your thing is set to a status that is ready for them to test. So
Cool.
need sign off probably, unless it's
Yep.
been signed, in which case it can be ready for QA step.
And I put a link to the community dashboard in the chat, which is how a lot of people find what needs sign off. There's that needs sign off. Needs triage is all like new stuff. Needs sign off are things that are ready for sign off, and it's got the number, like right now on mine it says 249. That's all the bugs and enhancements that are waiting for sign off. 65 of those are bugs. And then needs QA, same thing. Those are things that have been signed off. 128 total. 21 of those are bugs. And so like that's when I'm on like the QA team. And so like when I do QA, this is where I come to look at what needs QA. And I know that that's other people do that for sign offs also. I'm copied
Yeah.
on a ton of bugs, so I tend to look for things like get a email that something's ready for sign off, ready for testing. And that's often where I find things for me to test, but
And you can see there like 249 things need signed off. Things can get buried here, so that's why it is good to go promote yourself.
I figured I didn't want to be a squeaky wheel, but I also didn't want to, I guess be in the corner forever, collecting dust.
Right.
Cool. Well, that was very helpful. I appreciate Lisette and Lucas, your input.
Yeah.
And I also put the link to the special interest groups page for koha-US in the chat, which has the links for the minutes and joining the list and the Zoom link for baby devs. It's like alphabetical in order, special interest groups. Anyone's welcome to that. You don't have to be like a member of koha-US or anything. koha-US just provides the space and the email and the mailing list and Google Drive storage and everything. So
Cool. I think I signed up for that one, but I'll double check.
cool. And we're not meeting next month because I don't remember at what point you had
I heard
joined
that
the
earlier.
meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Have a good trip.
Thank you.
And it looks like your thing is currently failed QA. So do you have a path out of that?
So I have like an open question to the last person who went through and reviewed it, which I appreciate the review. And so I'm probably going to just implement a change that they suggested that we hadn't implemented intentionally before, and then open it up again, and then, go back out to Mattermost and see if somebody else finds another issue with it.
What's the bug number on that one?
I think it's 16631.
Yep.
It's burned into my brain.
Oh, yeah.
And David, who looks like reviewed your bug, is on Mattermost too, I'm pretty sure I can
He's just
say
a
this
Stephen Cook.
would be open to any like direct message questions about this to him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
I appreciate that. Like I said, I'm trying to get a lay of the land with some of the culture and everything too. Like I said, I'm not trying to get in anybody's face. I know some folks are getting paid, some folks are volunteering. So I appreciate everybody's, help and support and direction
Sure.
and work on this product.
Yeah, and David, just so you know, is in New Zealand or in Australia. So his time zones are probably gonna be pretty opposite. Like a lot of times I'll come in the morning and have emails from him or messages from him. So just like, don't be surprised if you don't hear back right away.
Thank you.
His time zone fun.
All right, is that it, or do we have any other questions? Okay, suppose we can go about our days. Hopefully we'll see y'all next month or at Baby Devs.
Thank you.